All right, we're here with head coach Ryan Carpenter in his second year here at Mayville State with women's basketball, just coming off of Frontier Media Conference. We just wanted to meet with Comet Athletics and ask you a few questions. Gonna get some repeats here from the media day, but who you got with you by your side?
So I've got two juniors, Hannah Stark and Taylor Hill, both returners from last year's team.
Awesome. Well, welcome, guys. We're super excited to get into basketball season. It seems like it's flown by this fall. Coach, can you talk to us a little bit about, I know you have a new assistant coach. Can you talk about him and what his role is and how having him in your program has helped out so far?
Yeah. So I think just number one, Coach Dylan Schmidt is our new assistant women's basketball coach. He's been awesome to have. The role that he's taken on has just been a big one in player development. He's in a huge part of that, getting players in for workouts. For me, I think just having a full-time assistant just in general has been awesome to lessen the workload a little bit. So that's been phenomenal. He's really high energy. He loves to talk, probably maybe a little bit too much at times. Spends a lot of time in my office. But that's okay. I'd rather have that than have to try and do it alone like I've done in the past. So just having another body to bounce ideas off of has been awesome, and we're excited to have him.
Awesome. Well, describe kind of your outlook going into the first part of your season and the Frontier, and what kind of your outlook is for this year.
Yeah, so I think the outlook for us is super unknown for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, the conference change. We played a few of the conference teams last year, but again, a full new conference and new list of opponents, I think, gives some unknown there. And then to have such a huge turnover in roster is also a little bit of an unknown. And we like what we've seen in practice, but until you get to be playing games, it's really hard to tell for sure what you're going to get out of everybody. And you kind of make that like a little bit more clear. We only had 3 returners from last year's roster. We had a small roster last year. We didn't play very many people every night, and we only have 3 of those people coming back. And so to bringing in 17 new faces to the program and what they bring to the table every day, it's been good. But we're still trying to work out the kinks and build some chemistry and figure out what we're good at, what we're not good at. And so that's what I mean by unknown. We're excited about it. I think we're ready to play real competition now. Like we're tired of beating up on each other. But as far as the outlook goes, like it really is a toss up right now. We're not sure.
Well, I guess we can kind of go into with that toss up. You're not sure because you're going into a new conference and the Frontier. Talk about how that's going to affect your program, what the travel is going to be like, how it's going to be different. Yeah.
Well, I think we have been there before, and so it's not like Montana's going to be this new thing for us. And that was intentional last year, knowing that we were making the jump to the Frontier League, as we wanted to try to schedule at least a couple of games out there to just get a feel for what it's going to be like. And honestly, I don't think the travel was as bad as I thought it was going to be when we signed up to do the trip last year. It's manageable, especially if you can, over time, start to think about trips that you can fly to and stuff like that. Like, it's really not as bad as it's made out to be. It kind of, I guess, if we start to fly, gives us a little bit more of a D1 type feel when we can get to that point. But so it's not that big of a deal to make that trip out to those Montana schools. As far as the season outlook, like, we were pretty good last year, but with such a new roster overhaul and what to expect, don't know. But we're excited with the group that we have. We've made a lot of progress so far. It's hard to replace what was lost last year. We lost some really, really talented basketball players. A player that was right up there for Conference Player of the Year in the North Star. Another player who was the Defensive Player of the Year. Another, I believe, first team, maybe second team, all-conference player. Like, we're not going to replace them, and we're not trying to replace them. We want to do it as a team, and so we'll be a little bit deeper this year. We'll get to play a few more people per game this year, which I think will allow us to be fresher down the stretch.
We'll kind of piggyback off of, you graduated those key players. Talk to me a little bit about the 3 that you returned, because you only returned 3. Yeah. And so talk about those kids and how they're gonna fill their roles and what their expectations are.
Yeah, and so they're obviously all going to take a leap forward in terms of what their role is going to be. I was very intentional with how we talked about what the summer should look like. And they came back, specifically the 2 next to me, came back in phenomenal shape. You can tell that they added to their game. They were faster, stronger, bigger. Like, they were just ready to roll into a new role. not only in terms of production, but in terms of leadership. Like, we lost a lot on the court as far as what we produced, but we lost leadership too. And so that was another conversation that we had with these guys over the summer, was like, hey, we need you to be not only better basketball players, but better leaders too. Because we're going to have a bunch of younger faces, a bunch of new faces. They're going to be leaning and looking towards the returners to say, how does this work? Where do we go? What do we do? And the three of them, the three returns that we have been awesome. I expect a huge leap forward for them in terms of what they produce every night, but they've already shown a leap in leadership, which has been the best part of the early season so far.
And so three returners, 17 new kids, roster 20. How competitive is practice with this bigger roster? New kids, it can be competitive. I know, Hannah, you said it was chippy at some points, which is good because you want that as a player, right? What's that big roster been like for you and all those new kids? How's that been?
It's been awesome to have that many people in practice. I think these guys, for sure, having been a part of a small roster last year, there's certain drills that we do that when you have a small roster, you just die because you're so tired because you only get 6 reps before you have to go again or whatever. And with a roster that big, you're getting a little bit more break at practice. You're getting a little more time to catch your breath, and I think it's no secret that we try to play fast, and so we practice that way too. So our practices are pretty intense physically, and how much we get up and down and how much we play, and so to add more bodies to give just a little bit of break in practice, I think has been good. The competitiveness, that was a huge part of it for me in the recruiting process. Is I don't want to bring people in that are satisfied. I wanted to bring people in that wanted to compete, they wanted to show up every day, and they wanted to play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder to some degree, and I think they've done that, but in a healthy way. And I think that these guys can attest to that. The practice and environment has been amazing this year, and I only expect that to continue.
Well, that's great to hear. This is the last one for you. Season debut. I know that you guys are scrimmaging this weekend, getting your feet wet, like you said. We're not going to say who or where or when, but you're opening up in, I think you said you're 10 days away, correct?
Yeah.
And you get Hastings at Hastings, and they're a good program. What do you expect out of that first weekend, and what's that? How are you structuring your preseason to prepare you for the Frontier?
Yeah. Well, I think the big part is schedule the right people. We want to play good teams, because if you don't play good teams and you try to go into the Frontier and you've beaten everybody by 40, you're not going to be prepared to face the onslaught of what that league can be. And so we want to play good teams. So we're playing a top 25 team in Hastings, who historically has been really good. They play in probably one of the other best conferences in the country, in the GPAC. So they've been awesome. And they return a lot of their roster from a national tournament team a year ago. And we follow that up with a 24-win team last year of Grandview, and who was also in the national tournament and won in the first round. And so our opening weekend is 2 really good teams, and we're excited to get to play them. We follow that up with a Division II opponent at home to open the season at home. And so we're playing high-level competition to help prepare us, because we know that the Frontier League is going to be a brutal schedule this year.
Well, thanks, Coach. Now I'm going to kind of turn it over to you, Hannah and Taylor. Tell me what you guys, and either one of you can go, but what are you most excited for about the Frontier Conference?
Yeah, I'd say we're definitely most excited about the competitive play. We know the reputation of this conference, the teams that have been in it, the level in which they are in the top 25, and we're just excited to start playing these super competitive teams. We mentioned a little bit earlier too, but we're excited to start playing some more teams, and not just the same teams that we were playing in the North Star all the time. So I'm so excited to. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, we literally played Jamestown 4 times last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, new players, new faces.
Yes.
Different competition.
Mm-hmm.
How has the chemistry been so far in preseason? I'm sure you haven't done too much with the basketball, maybe a lot of running. I'm not sure what your preseason, how long you've had a basketball at your guys' practice, but you're kind of getting to the point where, you're having heavier practices. How's the chemistry? What have those practices been like?
Yeah, chemistry's looking great. I mean, it was a lot of learning to start with. We had a lot of new girls, so we had to show the culture, show the girls how to run practice and stuff. But as we've gotten into it the past few weeks, we've really started to hit the competitive edge and the competitive side. It was a lot of mental things that we were trying to push through, start with, a lot of plays, a lot of just learning what a practice needs to look like, and now it's turned into playing more physical and focusing on the physical side of things.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So many new faces, and a lot of veterans graduated. It's a big class, a class that played a lot of minutes. And you two and Misty are the only returners, right?
Mhm.
What are the expectations that coaches kind of put on you guys to step up as leaders, and how are you guys implementing your culture and making sure that that's consistent day in and day out?
Definitely like accountability, not just to like the new players, but like me and Hannah always holding each other accountable all the time. Yeah.
We learned a lot from that group last year. I mean, obviously it's a big loss, but we're excited to step into our new roles. We're excited to continue with this next group of girls. Everyone's working so hard. So they've been so willing to follow right along in our leadership. They've been following in our Comet culture, and so everyone's putting in the effort and working super hard.
And that helps like make me and Hannah push harder as well. Like
Yes.
having them like follow along with us.
Makes our job easier.
Yeah.
And you can't complain about being next to players like the players that graduated. That's
Yeah,
a great,
for sure.
great problem to have. I guess
Yeah.
you want them on your team still, but you got to learn so much
so
from
much.
them, and you get to implement some things. And you played at a high level last year, and now you get to implement that with the players that are younger. I think that's a great way for the success for your season. So, what do you think? Some things that you guys need to do to be successful in the Frontier? Or do you have any, big focuses or big goals that your coach or you guys emphasis within your program this year?
Definitely playing as a team. Like it might not be your night, but everybody like sharing the ball, playing in transition for sure.
I guess like our motto has been heart over height, and from the entire interview you can tell like we're a new team. We are new players, new expectations, and like just because we don't have the hype of the team last year doesn't mean that we're not coming out ready to play every single night. We are a competitive team and we're ready to go. Like we want to give every single team a run for their money, and making sure that that's what we're doing every night is what's going to be our success.
Well, Coach, apparently you got some good energy in this room, and I think you're in good hands with your leadership. I'm sure Misty as well, but we're excited to see you guys at home in a couple of weeks, and we wish you the best of luck at your secretive scrimmage that you don't want to leak too much information, but we hope you do well, and we look forward to the new era of basketball. I hope that you guys are excited as we are, and we can't wait to see the Louis Lee pack. So thanks for having you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.